Hey, it's Tuxedo Mark. Is I assume that the audio is working now. Anyway, it's 6:20 p.m. on Thursday, June 3rd, 2021, and welcome to my review of Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon Eternal Act One. I'm starting this over because I went for a few minutes without realizing there's no audio. Um, I think what happened was because my headphones were still plugged in from when I did my Supernatural reaction video. I think my computer was trying to detect the microphone from my headphones. So that was what the problem was. And once I'm in live mode, I don't see an option to change the microphone input. So yeah, I gotta be careful about that. Thanks for letting me know that there was no audio. Anyway, so I think this requires a bit of an explanation. Um, the new series, Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon Crystal, ran for 34 episodes, I believe, and it covered the storyline from the first three story arcs of the manga. Hey, Kiwi XS. And so it covered the Dark Kingdom saga, the Dark Moon saga, and the Infinity saga, I believe it's called. Um, so that's what the first three seasons of the TV series covered. Now, for the fourth story arc, I think it's called the Dream Arc or the Dead Moon Saga, something like that. It's they decided to go with two short theatrical films instead of another season of the TV series. And judging by what I've watched so far, it seems each movie, which is like 81 minutes long each, will roughly contain about 4 episodes worth of story if this was a TV series. So it would be like an 8 episode TV series. Um, both parts are available and they're in Japanese and English. So what I've decided to do, I read the first act of the manga. Then I went and I watched all of the trailers, and then I watched the first movie up to the point that of what the first act of the manga covers, and then I rewatched that same part of the movie in English. So it's roughly around a little over 20 minutes to cover the first act of the manga, which is over 80 pages long. But the anime, manga pages are so sparse, basically, that you could you could go through them fairly quickly. Um, so what basically happens? And I remember at the end of the final episode of Sailor Moon Crystal season 3, they started setting up um, this storyline with the solar eclipse and the Dead Moon Circus arriving. I would have to go back and rewatch the final scene of the previous episode, but I don't believe it's reused here in this movie. I think they reanimated it and maybe even rescripted it. Um, I would have to do a comparison to be sure, but yeah, I don't think that they. I think they're kind of slightly retconning the end of the final episode to just kind of redo it in a theatrical way. Um, so basically, it's April 1st, and Chibiusa has decided that she's going back to the 30th century today. Uh, so her parents, Usagi and Mamoru, are going to see her off basically after they watch the solar eclipse. Everyone's gathered in the park. They have the astronomical society or whatever is handing out special glasses to watch the eclipse. And supposedly this kind of eclipse where the new moon covers the sun happens only once in a millennium. And I don't know enough about astronomy to know if that's correct or not, but that's what they're going with. So most of the Sailor Guardians, like Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, and Venus, are gathered in one spot, and Usagi, Mamoru, and Chibiusa are going off on their own, um, just so I guess to go to a secluded spot. So afterward, Chibiusa can take out her time key and go back to the 30th century. Um, we learn, as we do in the manga, that uh, the gang's going to high school in the upcoming school year. Because I believe in the, I don't know what time of year that the school year starts in Japan, but they've got new school uniforms, which I wouldn't have known if they didn't say anything. I don't really pay attention to clothing choices. Um, so the eclipse happens. Everyone starts making a wish because I guess they think if they wish on an eclipse so rare, their wishes might come true. Um, Minako, Sailor Venus, wants to be a big star, like the biggest star in the world. Um, Mako or Makoto, Sailor Jupiter, wants to be a good cook so she can be a good wife and then run either a flower shop or some other kind of shop, which for such a tomboy character, that seems kind of strange to me. Uh, oh, thank you, Shadow. Um, and then Ami, of course, Sailor Mercury, wants to be a doctor, not just a good doctor, but a great doctor, because her mom's a doctor too. Um, and Ray, Sailor Mars, wants to follow in her grandfather's footsteps and run the Hikawa Shrine someday in the future because she's a shrine priestess. Um, so, yeah, there's that. Now, during the eclipse, two things happen. One thing is a giant circus tent or spaceship that becomes a circus tent falls to Earth and takes up residence in the city or somewhere outside the city, or at least their local neighborhood, Juban. Everyone sees this, and they're only like slightly intrigued by it. They're like, oh wow, that was weird. It's like that's so understated. um, but I guess this city has seen enough weird stuff over the past few years that they're like, okay. Um, also, uh, a Pegasus, which is like a unicorn with wings and stuff, named Helios appears. I don't know if he says that his name is Helios right away, but yeah. And Chibiusa, Usagi, and Mamoru all see him. Um, so after the eclipse, Mamoru decides, oh, there's a crowd gathered here. Maybe you shouldn't, open up the time portal right now in front of all these people. We can wait till later for you to go home. So they're going to do some shopping to kill some time. So they go shopping, and Chibiusa comes across some kaleidoscopes. She wants one, Usagi wants one. They kind of pester Mamoru into buying them for them. They're somehow drawn to them. Okay, so then it's still crowded. They see advertisements for a Dead Moon Circus and all this stuff. And I mean, Mamoru's suspicions are kind of raised, but they don't really react like, oh no, there's a new baddie in town. I mean, if this flying circus tent just came out of the sky, it took up residence in the city and started advertising itself, and it's called the Dead Moon Circus, I'd be a bit more suspicious. Uh, anyway, so Mamoru decides, still crowded. Maybe you should wait till tomorrow to go back home. So Chibiusa's like, okay, well, I got a favor to ask of you. So she and Usagi decide that they're going to have a sleepover at Mamoru's apartment. So, yay. And then Mamoru throws pillows at them and he's like, get to bed. You guys got to wake up at like 5 in the morning. Usagi, you got to see her off. All right. So Chibiusa has Mamoru tell stories, and she mentioned something about how her mom, who's Usagi from the future, told some stories about like vampires and all this other stuff, and about not looking into a mirror during the new moon because then you could get sucked into a mirror universe. And anyway, so Helios, the Pegasus, contacts Chibiusa during her dream. She dreams she's flying over the city on Helios and sees that her area, Juban, has been blacked out. There's no, you can't see the lights from the sky because like a barrier, well, it's not explained yet, but like a barrier has covered the Juban district. Also, there's this part, and I'm glad that to see this story in anime form, because manga can sometimes get confusing. Like sometimes in regards to who's saying which line and exactly what's happening. But there's this one part in the manga, and seeing the equivalent part in the movie, I realized it's just like Chibiusa's imagination, but while this is so weird, but okay, Mamoru and Usagi are sleeping in Mamoru's bed with Chibiusa between them. There's this scene in the manga. You see Usagi naked in bed. And the impression that I got was that, okay, Usagi sleeps naked. but would be kind of weird thing to do in front of your daughter. But yeah. Anyway, it turns out that it's just Chibiusa imagining her her future mother naked while she's like admiring her body and wishing she could have a body like hers. uh, Japan. Anyway, so hi Tuki. Um, so after Chibiusa wakes up, she decides she's just gonna leave and go back to the future on her own. So she writes her future parents a note, leaves it on the bed, and leaves. And then they wake up. They decide to go after her. Chibiusa tries to use the time key, and it doesn't work. And I'm glad to get to see this in movie form because I didn't really get it in the manga, but it turns out that it's the barrier covering the Juban district that's preventing the time key from working, and it's not allowing Chibiusa to return to her own time. Then, when Mamoru and Usagi arrive, the Dead Moon Circus has sent out a tiger to attack them. So Usagi and Chibiusa try to do their transformations, and it doesn't work. Nothing happens. They run away from the tiger. They're trying to figure out why exactly it's not working. And Usagi realizes that their latest transformations from the previous season they came from the Holy Grail. I guess they each have a Holy Grail. I specifics of that, but it was brought about when the 9 Sailor Guardians got together. And no, this doesn't include Sailor Saturn. She wasn't part of it. They're including Chibiusa as one of the 9 Guardians, even though she's not from this time period. But anyway, now that 3 of the Guardians are gone, which means Sailor Uranus, Sailor Neptune, Sailor Pluto, they had left. So apparently, because all of the Guardians are not in close proximity to each other, the Holy Grails have gone away, and now Sailor Moon and Usagi and Chibiusa can't transform. Doesn't make much sense, but then somehow they immediately get new transformation powers, and something happens to their compacts. And yes, Usagi does refer to her brooch that she wears on her uniform as a compact, and that made me kind of laugh because, as far as I remember, I could be wrong, but I don't think it's ever been referred to in that way in the new dub of Sailor Moon. The first and really only place that I remember hearing that was in actually the very first Sailor Moon thing that I ever watched, which was the original 2000 dub of the Sailor Moon R movie. I got a big old clamshell VHS tape from Toys R Us, I think. I'm not sure. There's an opening sequence in the movie where Usagi she's introducing herself and all of her friends, and she says that she just happens to own the world's most powerful compact. Um, it's not a compact, but in this new movie, in the English dub of Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon Eternal, um, she does refer to it as compact. So it's just a brooch that it opens up, and I think it's got the silver Imperium silver crystal or whatever it's called. Yeah, inside it. Um, hey, Ultimate. I'm okay. How are you? Um, all right. So, um, oh, and Helios says, if you ever need me, ring the bell. He left the bell for Chibiusa during her dream sequence. She can ring it to summon Helios, and he tells her do it and and yells like twinkle yell or something like that. And also, there's kaleidoscopes that they bought or that they had Mamoru buy for them. Turns out that they were drawn to them because they were meant for them. I don't know why there were two kaleidoscopes there when Chibiusa was not even from this time period, but yeah, whatever. So these become like their new weapons or something, and they have a new like attack called Moon Gorgeous Meditation. Some of these attack names are just really weird. Anyway, so they defeat the tiger. Um, Also, Mamoru's been having chest pains ever since the eclipse, and he he crumbles to the ground. They're like, we gotta get him to the hospital. Meanwhile, the members of the Dead Moon Circus, including these girls that are part of the Amazonas Quartet, are spying on Usagi, or I don't know if they know that they're Usagi and Chibiusa, but they're spying on Sailor Moon and Sailor Chibi Moon, and they use like some kind of mirror to find out their thoughts. And Usagi's like, I need to be a grown up in this situation, and Chibiusa's like, I'm so glad I'm still a kid. I'm not ready to deal with this. Now, in the Amazonas Quartet's minds, people say stuff the opposite of what they truly feel, even though these are their inner thoughts. So it should be actually what they feel, not. But anyway, so they decide what they're going to do is turn Usagi into a little kid and Chibiusa into a teenager or a grown woman or something. And so yeah, then they look at each other and they're shocked. Yeah. Um, and I'm glad again to see it in movie form, because in the manga, I don't know if I just wasn't paying close enough attention, but it looked like I thought that their minds had been transferred to each other's bodies, but no. Usagi becomes a little girl, and Chibiusa becomes a teenager or adult. Um, and then we get a scene like over in the Dead Moon Circus, and it turns out that they're like the ancient enemies of the White Moon Kingdom. I'm not sure if I've ever heard them called the White Moon Kingdom before, but yeah, the Moon Kingdom that Usagi used to live in a past life, and yeah, so I guess they're like ancient enemies or something. Um, yeah. So that basically would have been an episode if they did this in TV form. Um, So now I'm going to read the next act of the manga. Um, the first volume. This one contains 3 acts. So that should be, well, I don't know. I'm guessing around 3 episodes worth of content. I'm not sure exactly um, what the breakdown is going to be, but yeah, um, I decided to review it like this because if I watched the entire first movie and then try to recall it in my review, I would forget a bunch of stuff. So yeah, so I enjoyed that first one. Um, the the fourth season of the anime series has never been my favorite of the original anime series. It's not even close. Um, 2 reasons. One, the outer Senshi or the outer Guardians uh, were not there, even though from what I've heard they are there in the manga version of the story. So, and obviously I've seen the trailers, so I know they're going to show up in this movie or the second movie. I'm not sure, but yeah, in the original '90s anime, they were completely removed. So that was dumb. Also, there was just way too much focus on Chibiusa, and she's never been my favorite character, and I've always found her pretty annoying. In fact, the way that she flirts with Mamoru, I mean, she does realize it's her dad, right? And she flat out tells Usagi, "You're not my mom," even though, yes, she is. Um, and even in this movie and in the manga story, it was kind of weird. Um, Mamoru comments about how Chibiusa is so spoiled, and he's like, "When I have my own daughter, I'm going to be like the strictest parent ever." But she is your daughter. She just came from a future time period. But it is your daughter, dude. Um, I don't know. Sometimes it's weird how they treat um, these characters' relationships. I mean, yeah. Anyway. Oh, hi, Lucky. Hi, Lucky. You were looking for me? Yeah. All right. Uh, so, yeah, that's it for this review. Once I watch or once I read the next chapter of the manga, and then watch the equivalent portion of the movie in Japanese and then in English, I'll review that. So, okay. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and never heard of that. I can look it up, but I've never heard of that. Anyway, so it's 6:49 p.m. and that's it. Thanks for watching.